we're not talking right now about your two relationships in particular, are we? Okay. Okay, because I don't want to take sides. You know, that question that you just talked about is very interesting. I get asked that question a lot. And I actually think if any of you are looking for a career, there is actually a career in environmental marriage counseling. One time I was in our farmer's market, and this lady comes up to me and says, "You're no impact man, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she says, "Wait here." I'm like, "Okay." She kind of disappears into the crowd, and then a minute later she re-emerges from the crowd with this guy. She's like this, and this guy. She brings him up to me and she goes, "Tell him!" It's her husband or something, and he won't recycle, you know. She's like, "Tell him!" I'm like, "Okay." Dude, find another wife. I told them. And one time, I can't remember what was happening. I don't remember the exact fight, but there was something that happened with my father and me, and he sent me an email, and he said, "You know, you should worry more about your impact on your family and less about your impact on the planet." I was like, you know, that's so interesting. And I think about it in terms of peace activists, right? So, and this whole anger versus love thing, and I think that if one wants to be a peace activist, and truly, well, there are two types of peace. There's two types of peace activists. There's the type of peace activist who's like, I am so frightened of what could happen to the world that I'm really angry at the people in power because I'm scared of getting blown up. And then there's a type of peace activist that's like, I care so deeply about all of you that I'm frightened for you and I would like to help you, right? So one is anger, one is love. Truthfully, any of us who care about peace have a mixture of those two things within us, right? I'm scared for myself and I care about you. So it's not one or the other. But I think that if I want to be an effective peace activist, one of the things that I have to work on is creating peace within myself. You know, like they say, a peaceful mind makes a peaceful man, a peaceful man makes a peaceful village, family, a peaceful family makes a peaceful village makes a peaceful world, right? So I have to work on, because you know, with anger, if you're the angry peace activist, you can't kill people for peace. It doesn't work, you know. So I don't know if you guys have ever read George Orwell's Animal Farm, but basically the animals rebel against the human beings because the humans are such tyrants, and the next thing you know, the pigs end up walking on 2 feet and living in the human's house and become the farmers, right? So they had a rebellion, and it turns out that now there's a new tyrant. That's because if you fight the tyrant with violence, then you've adopted the tyrant's paradigm. So we need a new paradigm, which is love. So in terms of relationships and environment that you talk about, I think that I try to be really, really careful around this, because if I hurt and harm people because I'm angry about the environment, then I'm recreating the whole world that I'm trying to do something about. So, you know, I said it, you know, don't give acupuncture to a dead cow, also means, you know, that's disparaging of the people that disagree with me, which, you know, it's in its ways, you can't say everything correctly, but it also means to respect, you know, that person's never going to agree with me, they're fine, and I should stop doing violence against them by persuading them, and hope that one day, then when they see my example, or they see somebody else who actually has the skill to persuade them, right? Like, I can accept that I don't have the skill to persuade them. There's something about me that makes me incapable of getting through to them. Rather, there's something about them that makes them unable to hear me. then there's another kind of relationship too, besides our interpersonal relationships, which are our relationships to institutions, right, and organizations. And I'm very interested in, Gandhi in India talked about cooperation and non-cooperation, right? Basically, you did not cooperate. The whole thing was about the whole nonviolent revolution that came when the Indians got rid of the British. It was just they refused to cooperate with that which they didn't believe in, and they didn't. Gandhi did not preach hate towards the British. He just believed that the British were living in illusion. They were living wrongly, and he was like, I'm not going to participate in your wrong living. I'm not going to hate you, but I'm not going to participate in your wrong living. So how do we not participate? How do we, to basically take your energy, give your energy to the things that you believe in, and don't give your energy to the things that you don't believe in? Another question?
Throughout the whole entire project, what do you feel is the scariest or the worst thing that happened to you? Like, not you as a person, but your whole family?
I think it caused stresses in our family, which were scary. They're scary in a good way and scary in a scary way, right? So scary in a good way was that once we kind of woke up and began questioning how we were living, it meant that we got the opportunity to choose our way of life really consciously, which also is scary, I'm interested in this idea of catharsis. So catharsis is where, who knows a really good definition of catharsis? Catharsis is a complicated concept. So catharsis is where, let's say you feel worried about something, and then you see a movie about somebody else doing something about the thing you're worried about, and when the movie's over, you feel better because they were doing that. That's a cathartic feeling. It's like when somebody else does something, and you get a cathartic feeling. So you feel better because they did something. So not we all, but I used to. Michelle used to sit around watching television, and you watch, then you go down a raft on the river, go down the rapids on a raft. So your desire for adventure is cathartically satisfied. You don't go down a raft on a river yourself, but you see a picture of somebody else doing it, and somehow you feel like you don't need to do it yourself. Or, somebody finds true love, so somehow you don't have to do it yourself because, your desire for it was somehow satisfied the moment by seeing a movie about it. Michelle said this, that when you take away the TV, all of a sudden you actually have to find a way to satisfy those desires for yourself, right? And you can't just sit on a couch anymore. That's a bit scary. Like all of a sudden you're like, I have to live life. I have to live life, right? So that's scary in a good way. Another kind of scary was just all of a sudden, like all these TV people wanted to talk to me, and all of a sudden I was expected to go, on live television in front of several million people, and say what I thought, and I didn't think I was qualified to think anything, really. I was like, I was probably thinking too much of myself at the time, but I was like, well, what if I say the wrong thing, and so that was really scary. And then later on, I kind of realized that basically all I really talk about is let's be a little bit nicer to each other. Being nicer to the planet is also being nicer to each other, right? And I was like, oh, I can say that to very many million people and feel comfortable about it, right? And then engaged electorate is way more important than an informed electorate. Like, we all know the problem. I mean, the problem is the way that the world turns does not reflect the kindness that we have in our hearts. We don't need to be kinder, we're kind. But that kindness needs to be expressed. And the problem is that kindness is not expressed quite as well, right? That's the problem. So how do we be engaged? And so we know what the problem is. The question is, what will make us actually all start doing something about it? And so one of the scary things is that I actually started doing something about it, and then people started taking notice, and I started feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to get criticized. And I did get criticized, and I lived through it, and I found out I could make a difference. And I think that's a story for all. I'm no one special. I don't think that I'm just someone that had an idea and tried it. But there are reasons why we all don't try things, because we know what's going to happen. We're going to get taken notice of.